The request came in at 10:14 p.m., December 23rd. The wind was already starting to howl, a low, angry sound that felt personal. The app pinged. A simple pickup just a few blocks away. Destination, an address over on the east side. The money was good. Surge pricing was kicking in, but I had this feeling deep in my gut, a cold dread that had nothing to do with the temperature outside. It was the silence. The city was getting quiet. Too quiet for the night before Christmas Eve. I hesitated, my thumb hovering over the accept button. Every instinct screamed at me to log off, go home, and lock the door. This ride, I knew, was a mistake. This is the story of the last ride I ever took. The night my city disappeared under the snow. The wind hit my Camry like a fist. The car rocked, and the snowflakes turned from a gentle flurry into a horizontal blizzard. Visibility was dropping fast. I pulled up to the address, a small house on a dark street. The porch light was off. For a second, I thought it was a no-show. Then, the back door opened. A man got in. He was young, maybe early 20s, wearing only a thin hoodie against the storm. He didn't say hello, just slammed the door and gave me an address. It was a hospital. Mercy Hospital. You sure you want to go out there, man? I asked, looking at him in the rearview mirror. His face was pale, his eyes wide. He was staring straight ahead, not at me. I have to, he said. His voice was tight, strained. She's waiting. He didn't say who. He just kept staring forward as I pulled away from the curb. The tires spun on the fresh ice before catching. The journey was only supposed to be 15 minutes. The GPS was already 25 minutes. 35. The blue line on the screen was a lie. There were no roads anymore. Just a swirling vortex of white. The streetlights flickered and died behind us, one by one, like the city was holding its breath. And that's when everything shifted. He hadn't said a word for 10 minutes. The only sounds were the roar of the wind, the rhythmic thump of the windshield wipers struggling against the accumulating snow, and the emergency alerts breaking through the radio static. A cold, robotic voice announcing a travel ban. Too late for us. I glanced in the rearview mirror again. The passenger was shivering, but not from the cold. His hands were clenched into white-knuckled fists. He was muttering something under his breath. I couldn't make it out. Everything okay back there? I asked. My voice sounded small against the storm's fury. He flinched, like I'd startled him out of a trance. Don't stop, he whispered, his voice cracking. Whatever you do, don't stop. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. Stop? I couldn't if I wanted to. We were on South Park Avenue, but it didn't look like it. It looked like a polar expedition. Cars were already stranded, buried in drifts, some with their doors hanging open as if their drivers had fled into the whiteout. Sirens wailed in the distance, a sound that seemed to come from all directions and none at all. They never got any closer. Here's where it gets darker. The GPS suddenly went blank. No signal. The blue line was gone. We were blind. Where are we going? I asked, trying to keep the panic out of my voice. The hospital is that way, but I can't see the exit for the 190. The passenger leaned forward, his breath fogging the plexiglass divider. Forget the highway, he said, his voice urgent. Take Bailey. Cut through Bailey Avenue. That's all residential. It won't be plowed. It's the only way, he insisted. Please, I know the way from there. I made the turn. It was a terrible decision. The snow was deeper here, the drifts like frozen waves crashing over the sidewalks. The world had shrunk to the 10 feet of space, illuminated by my headlights. Then, a shape emerged from the blizzard, a person, standing in the middle of the road, waving their arms. Primera slod. Down my heart pounding. It was a woman in a thin coat. Don't stop, my passenger hissed from the back seat, his voice filled with a strange, cold terror. Drive. Now, I shouldn't have taken that turn. The woman in the road was desperate, her face a mask of fear. I could see her mouth forming the word help, but the voice from my back seat was ice. I said, drive. I looked from her to him in the mirror. His eyes were locked on her, and his expression wasn't fear anymore. It was something else. Something possessive, something terrifying. I hit the gas. The car fishtailed, and we slid past her. I saw her face in my side mirror, watching USA go before she was swallowed by the snow again. I felt sick. "Who was that?" I demanded. Silence. The passenger had shrunk back into his seat, his face hidden in the shadows. We drove on, crawling through a landscape of buried cars and dark houses. It directed me left here, right there, through a maze of unrecognizable streets. The snow was so deep now. The undercarriage of the Camry was scraping against it. I knew we didn't have much longer before we were stuck for good. I realized then he wasn't telling me everything. We finally reached a street that looked vaguely familiar. It was near Mercy Hospital, but the entrance was blocked by a mountain of snow and a jackknifed semi-truck. There was no way through. "This is it," I said, my voice flat with exhaustion and dread. "We can't get any closer." The passenger didn't seem to hear me. He was staring out the window at the hospital, its lights a faint, hazy glow in the storm. "She's in there?" he whispered. "I told her I'd come." Then he did something that froze my blood. He started trying to open the door. The wind ripped it from his hand, slamming it back against the car. "What are you doing?" I yelled. "You'll freeze to death in seconds." It tornado me, and for the first time, I saw his face clearly in the dim interior light. There were tears frozen to his cheeks. "My wife," he said, his voice breaking. "She's having our baby. She's been in labor for 12 hours. I promised her I wouldn't let her be alone." In that moment, everything clicked. The desperation, the refusal to stop. The hospital. He wasn't a monster. He was a father, trapped in a nightmare, just like me. He opened the door again, and this time he stumbled out into the storm. I watched him fight his way toward the hospital, alone. Dark figure battling the impossible wind, disappearing into the white chaos. He never looked back. I sat there for a long time, the engine running, the heater blasting. I was alone, in a dead car, in a dead city. I don't know how long I waited. Eventually, my own survival instinct kicked in. I put the car in reverse and began the long, impossible journey home. I never found out if he made it to the hospital. I never knew if he got to see his child born. His story ended for me when he stepped out into the blizzard. Sometimes, on quiet nights when the wind picks up, I think of him, a ghost in the snow, driven by a promise. I think of the woman I left on the road. I think of a city brought to its knees, and the choices we make when the world falls apart. The night remembers more than we think. If this story followed you after it ended, leave a comment below.